Transformers. It might be one of the best. Maybe because it was free, so it tastes better.
All right, Transformers. By the end of this lesson, go back. By the end of this lesson, you'll be able to describe how transformers work and what they do. Calculate the voltage and current in the primary and secondary coils. Give that one a shot.
I was like, so I never watched it.
Go ahead and have a discussion about physics.
Or like generator actually, like I can understand the generator in the I mean kind of.
Wait, do I'm going to
Do light bulbs?
Do they have what?
No, not today.
Right.
Slightly.
No.
Very small. Correct answer is? Correct answer is yes, they do. Yes, it does. Here's why. Foundational fact number 3 says if a conductor experiences a changing magnetic field, then voltage is induced in this conductor. If this conductor is hooked up to complete circuit, then current is induced. Okay. Where is this secondary coil? Where's this magnetic field coming from? It's coming from the primary. Okay, so this is a snippet from the video you guys saw. Here's the primary coil. It's hooked up to a power supply. When current goes through this, it creates a magnetic field that this secondary coil finds itself in. Okay, but that magnetic field must be changing in order for a voltage to be induced across this secondary coil. Okay, so if a conductor experiences a changing magnetic field, then voltage is induced across this, and if it's hooked up to complete circuit, then current is created. Thumbs up when you have a guess. Have a conversation. Tell them why you think so.
No, like I know.
It was a little loud at first. It's like I'm slowly kind of shaking.
Correct answer is? Correct answer is E, educated elephants. Okay. The reason why is you have to have a changing magnetic field. Okay. When you turn this on, this creates its magnetic field. Okay. Right when you turn it on, this guy's like, whoa, magnetic field. But when it's on, it's like, yep, there's a magnetic field, but it's not changing. You turn it off, it's like, whoa, where'd it go? You're looking for the whoa factor. Okay. It has to be changing. So it's only when you turn it on and off. And hopefully that's what you saw when you did the online lab with changing the slider on the battery. Okay. Tell your neighbor. Correct answer is dangerous dinosaurs. Get to that. Okay. Here is a illustration of a transformer. This is going to be our primary coil, so we're going to hook this up to the power supply. Okay. Our gray, this is the iron core. The blue lines are your magnetic field, and this is your secondary coil. We're going to go through two different experiments, two simulations. First one is we're going to increase the current, so it's going to go stronger and stronger and stronger, and then we're going to peak out and plateau, keeping it constant, the current constant. Okay. And what I want you to observe is what happens to the current created on your secondary. So here, we're going to increase the current, creates a change in magnetic field, and then we're going to plateau it. So it's still current flowing through it. We still have a magnetic field, but because it's not changing, there's no current induced. Okay. So again, same thing. Okay. Still a magnetic field, but it needs to be changing. So this is why we have alternating current. So it continually makes a changing current, which makes a continually changing magnetic field, which allows the current to be always induced, always created, and it turns out to be alternating as well. Okay, cool with that. And that's why we have alternating current. Talk to your neighbor. Correct answer is? Okay. The popular misconception is, oh, this needs to be a conductor so it allows electricity to pass through it. This worked with nothing in the middle. It still creates a magnetic field. The iron core simply strengthens the magnetic field. Correct answer is B, bountiful buffaloes. Okay, it still would work, just not as well. There would still be a magnetic field that's changing that this guy experiences. Okay. Talk to your neighbor.
I mean, it kind of makes sense.
Okay, correct answer is B, step down. How do you know? You have less loops on your secondary than you do your primary. That's how you know. And you watch the pre-quiz video. Good with that? Talk to your neighbor. Correct answer is crickets. Correct answer is beautiful babies. Okay. So when we talk about step up or step down, that is referencing what happens to the voltage. Okay. This is the equation that describes this. Okay. So let's say you had 120 volts as your primary. Okay. We're looking for the voltage on our secondary. On our primary, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 loops. On our secondary, we have 1, 2, 3 loops. We solve for that. We find that to be 51.4 volts. And that is the extent of the difficulty of the math for transformers. That's it. Okay. So the math, just in general in this unit, the math for this is relatively easy. The concepts, that's the hard part about this unit. Okay. So some people like that is not very satisfying. It's like magical, like where did that equation come from? So this is the equation that defines how much voltage is induced. It's the number of loops. This is the area inside the loop. And this is the rate at which your magnetic field is changing. You don't need to know this equation. I'm just telling you for those people who are like, you just made that up. So if I bring the number of loops over here, so this ratio of the voltage induced over the number of loops is equal to the area, which these both have the same area, times the rate at which magnetic field is changing. Both are experiencing the same rate of change of magnetic field. So this ratio is fixed. So the voltage on the secondary over the number of loops on the secondary, and we just brought voltage 2 over here and number of loops over there to make that equation. Again, you won't have to calculate that. That's just for those people who are like, that's great, where'd that come from? Okay. Have a conversation.
And this is like, I'm not gonna
Correct answer is? Correct answer is A. Amazing alligators. So here we see the number of loops and the voltage are directly related. The number of loops and the current is inversely related. So if you have a step up transformer, you're increasing the voltage but decreasing the current. Okay. Math wise, if you wanted to like, you got 7/3 is equal to, let's just say the current, and the first one is 1 amp. How much is on the second? More or less than 1. It's going to be more than 1. So we're increasing the current. Tell your neighbor. Correct answer is C. This is a concept from the pre-quiz. Okay. This has to do with conservation of energy. Power is the rate at which energy is being used or converted. So the power in has to equal the power out. The energy going in has to equal the energy going out. The rate at which energy is going in has to equal the rate at which energy is going out. Okay, good with that? So this is why your current and your voltage flip-flop. Oop, that's one. As your voltage decreases, your current has to increase. Good with that? Talk to your neighbor.
Sorry. I'm like clean.
That's how I was. Why didn't you get it?
So I was done. I was Josie. Everything else got I'm just looking at it. It's like I got this.
You left it again.
Correct answer is? Correct answer is C. Crazy cats. Okay. Step up has to do with your voltage, so we're increasing voltage, but power ideally has to be the same. Power in equals power out. Tell your neighbor. Correct answer is? Hey. Welcome, welcome. Correct answer is B. Current decreases because our voltage increased. Okay? Voltage and current are inversely related. Okay? I don't know if you ever tried to move a microwave, but one side's always heavier than the other. The reason why is because the heavy side has this thing. Okay? This is a transformer, and the iron core is set up differently than what I've drawn. It's like a figure 8. So the loops, the coils are wrapped around the center post, and it channels the magnetic field on both sides. Okay. So this is this side here is your your primary coil, primary loops. It's plugged into 120 volts from your outlet. This is your secondary coil. There's a lot more loops. This steps it up to 600 volts to run your microwave. Okay. So when I pass this around, be ready for about 15 pounds. Like it's a chunk. Okay. Give this one a shot while that's going around. Here's some smaller ones. These have a little different arrangement where the primary and secondary coils are wrapped around themselves. But works kind of the same way. Have a conversation about this question.
But I'm gonna go get coffee. It's really bad. Oh, I get so much they have like
I don't know.
like a tracker like on their car and you can just go and see it. But I just need your answer.
Okay. Is it step up or step down? Is a step down. You're going from 120 volts in the outlet to 6 volts. I mean, decrease the voltage. Does that make sense? Okay. What powers your phone? The battery. What kind of current is created by a battery? DC. What kind of current comes out of an outlet? AC. We've got to fix that. And so that's what an inverter does. Okay. So if you have a black box or a white box or whatever that you plug into your outlet, there'll be a transformer and then a circuit board. Okay. This transformer is going to be set up to be a step down. This is what makes it heavy. And then you have a circuit board in there that has some diodes and a capacitor. That's an inverter to like make the alternating current go, instead of doing this, just always go this way. Okay. Technically it's called a rectifier, but so Chromebooks, anything that's battery powered that you recharge your battery, that box is gonna at least have a step down transformer and some kind of inverter. Probably some other stuff in there too. But sorry, correct answer is D. Step down and an inverter. Okay. Good with that? Dangerous dinosaurs. All right. So, a very popular question is, what about wireless chargers? You now know enough information to be able to understand this. So, in your base, in your hub, in your whatever you call it, there's an induction coil that has alternating current that creates its own magnetic field. And it's changing. Phones that have the capability of being charged wirelessly, guess what they have in them? Coil wire. Your secondary is an induction coil as well. And this is, it finds itself in this changing magnetic field. Transformers.
These are transformers.
Yeah.
Did you steal this from a teacher's lounge? You just went in there and like donated.
Totally did.
Just sign.
No, kids like, hey, do you want this microwave? I'm like, yep, I do.
Oh. Hey, you want to?
Sure. All right. Those are harder to get into. That's what that was. So does that make sense how that's working now? Your phone is in a changing magnetic field from your charging station because it's alternating current. Yeah, the current coming from the wall is alternating. Okay. So, doing a little research, there's actually two different designs for wirelessly charging. There's your inductive charging, which we just talked about, and then you have magnetic resonance charging, which I think it works about the same way. You just have this central hub that like charges the devices around that. My guess is it just directs the magnetic field out rather than up. I would say this route would be a lot more efficient because it's getting all the magnetic field. But does that make sense? Physics. Good stuff. Okay. Can I make one of those? Yeah. I mean, yeah. I don't know what would be the difference between these two. Like, if I was designing them, I would end up making this, and this would. Yeah, I agree. I think if you stacked your phones on top of there, I think that would still work. All right.
What does dissipate?
To like use, to waste.
So
That's a
use less power.
Yeah. Yeah. Kyla, that's the transformer.
Another transformer. What is this part?
That's the transformer part.
What's this?
Then that's the thing that changed it from AC to DC.
Things are diodes.
It's coming. It's coming. Good. You guys get these? Okay. Right here.
Yeah.
So would this be like a step up?
Well, yeah, I know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Depends on the box.
This is from the. Yeah, I know.
Tell your neighbor if you haven't already.
So you're allowed to spray.
Can I take a picture?
Okay.
We'll see that. Probably not gonna be able to read that.
Should be step up.
Oh, hey.
Okay.
OTS.
Correct answer here. Everybody go with B, low current. Everybody, correct answer for that. What causes low current? Step up. It increases the voltage but decreases the current. We're talking step up, step down. That's referring to what happens to the voltage, not the current. Okay. Well, I don't know where the power generation station is for Lafayette, but I do know where it is for Indianapolis.
The what? How would you?
The where the generators are. The generators that provide Indianapolis with electricity is south of Bloomington in a town called Washington, Indiana. Okay? That is a long extension cord. Does that make sense? Because Indianapolis doesn't want the smokestacks. Like the power generation is dirty. Like you're burning stuff. So there's a lot of energy being wasted just in getting electricity from the power generation station to the consumer. We want to minimize that. So we want to decrease the amount of current in the transportation process. Does that make sense? Okay. And this is why we have step up transformers. So here's a very simple model of this. You have a power station. We step up the voltage so current goes down. And we transport electricity via high voltage power lines. That makes sense? And then before it's used, we step it back down. Okay. In history, I don't know if you ever heard of the electric wars between Tesla and Edison. Thomas Edison was like a big proponent of direct current. He's like, I think we should create the infrastructure of the United States based upon direct current. And Nikola Tesla was like, no, we should do alternating current. This application was what sealed the deal for Nikola Tesla. So we could transport electricity over large distances by stepping up the voltage, thus reducing how much energy was lost in the transmission. Good with that? Okay. So here's a little more fuller picture. So we create electricity with generators. We step it up somewhere in the neighborhood of like 10, 20, 50,000 volts. Okay. Some manufacturing industries actually tap into that 50,000 volts. But most time you go to a substation, which is a step down transformer, and takes it from 50,000, I'm making these numbers up, to like 10 to 5,000 volts. Some of that 10 to 5,000 volts is used in other type of industries, but before it gets to residential, you step down again to bring it down to your 120 volts. Okay, so this would be a substation, a step down substation. This is the one off of Lindbergh. The celery bog is right over there. Okay, good with that. These are like your electric playgrounds that you just want to climb on, but it looks like it'd kill you because it really would. So this is taking it from 50,000 down to like 10,000, 5,000. And then before it gets to your house, if the electricity is coming on power lines, you get these trash can looking containers. This is another step down transformer. It takes it down to 120 volts. This is the thing that squirrels like to chew on that blow up. Okay, here's, and then you go over, see a squirrel like in just smoking. Bit in one of those. Yeah, they're big booms. If your power electric lines are coming in underground, these boxes here are your transformer, your step down transformers. You open one of those up, here's what's inside. That'd kill you. Don't mess with that. Hence the warning labels. Sound good? Okay. And that's all I got for today.